Good evening. What you are to see and hear tonight is the telling of one of Arizona's most romantic stories. The story of the treasure of the Superstition and of the legend of the Lost Dutchman gold mine. The secret of the Dutchman's gold is shrouded in the mist of the mountain and haunted by the ghost of all who have gone before. They move in the vast, silent stillness of the evil superstition, beckoning others to follow. There is a curse on this gold, a curse that lingers over these mountains. Everyone who has searched for it, seen it, or touched it is marked for a horrible death. Yet the superstition continues to lure men and women to search for the Dutchman's gold. Their bleached bones and beheaded bodies are later found in the treacherous cliffs and canyons of the mountain. The Apache Indians considered this area sacred and the home of their gods. They placed the curse on all who search for the yellow metal. And to this day, the mine's location is still a mystery. Tonight, you are very close to Superstition's gold, very close to the Lost Dutchman. The old Dutchman, Death's watchman, he never rests. When you search for his gold, he walks at your side.
We found the gold. The Peralta's gold. I tell you, there were nuggets the size of a fist. You hear me? The size of my fist. We were rich as kings. Richer than kings. You went searching for my gold today. Did you find any? Many have vainly sought the treasures of the superstitions. One such man was Adolph Ruth, a government agent from Washington, D.C. Ruth had what appeared to be an authentic map of the superstition area, but no man was probably more ill-prepared to undertake the strenuous task of entering the superstitions than Adolph Ruth. He suffered from poor eyesight. He walked with the aid of a cane from an injury he had received earlier in California. Adolph Ruth appeared at the Barclay Ranch at the foot of the Superstition Mountains in June of 1931.
More coffee, Mr. Ritter? It forms a triangle. That is the Peralta family coat of arms. And it's drawn on goat skin. And all the printing is in Spanish.
Why, I've seen lots of maps. Anybody can draw a map like that. I've seen lots of them, and why, shoot, I could have bought a whole lot of them for $5.
No, you don't understand. I spent years researching the Dutchman. I know that Ramon Peralta gave this map to Jacob Ball and Jacob Beezer, and it led them to the gold in these mountains.
Maybe you're right there, Mr. Ruth. I don't know. But what I do know is that what you propose is mighty dangerous. If you take my advice, I wouldn't go in there alone. If you don't mind my saying so, with that there bum leg, it's going to be twice as risky, especially being so hot and dry.
Yeah. They'll ought to have two good legs going in there.
Don't you fellows worry about my leg. I can walk as far and as fast as any of you. I broke this leg at the Southern California expedition researching the Dutchman. And if I could be assured of finding his gold, I would gladly break it again. Now, are you going to pack me in or not? Because if you won't, I'll be forced to pack in myself.
Well, Mr. Ruth, you got more guts than you got brains. But if you're so dead set on going into those hills, we'll get you in there.
Yep. Now, I'll tell you what, Mr. Ruth. Why don't we just make this a business proposition, huh? Tell you what we'll do. We'll pack you in for 10 days, and we'll pack you in with enough supplies for 10 days. We'll set up your camp, then we'll come back in 10 days and check on you and make sure that you're okay. And we'll do all of that for, $300 ought to do it.
What about the water?
Don't you worry about the water. I know where there's a pool of water in East Boulder Canyon. It's about 2 miles from Weaver's Needle. You can set your camp up there.
Good. I knew I could count on you two. I'd be glad to go with you. But I'll pay you the $300 in 2 installments. as a business venture to protect my interests. $150 when we reach the water, and $150 when you return in 10 days with the supplies. Agreed?
Well, it's all right with me. It's all right with you, Purnell.
Yeah, but I'd still rather have that $300 in advance.
Gentlemen, you said this was a business proposition. I'm merely protecting my interests. Now, tomorrow morning, you said.
Yep, sun up bright and early tomorrow morning. Now, Purnell, you go ahead and get the supplies together, and I'll cut out the horses that we need, and, what about guns there, Mr. Ruth?
Oh, I always carry this pistol with me.
Yeah?
I find it's all I've ever needed.
Well, as I see it there, Mr. Ruth, that might be fine and dandy for you, but I do believe you're going to need a 30-30.
On all my previous trips, I found that this is all I've ever needed or used. This is not a big game safari, you know.
Well, it ain't no turkey shoot either. God only knows what's in those mountains.
I'll take my chances. Now, if you gentlemen will excuse me, I need to bring my notes up to date.
Hey, that's a mighty fine-looking little notebook you've got there, Mr. Ruth.
Oh, as a way of keeping track of all that I've done. And maybe a little history for those that will follow.
Yeah. Well, we'll go ahead and get the supplies that you need. We'll get everything ready for you.
Oh, don't forget a coffee pot.
Don't you worry about a thing there, Mr. Ruth. We'll take care of everything.
Time of the year in these mountains. Lack of adequate water, man with poor vision, crippled leg. They didn't find him until December of that year. And then, all they found was his skull. A month later, they found the rest of his body on a narrow ridge overlooking Needle Canyon. The only clues that were ever found were in his notebook found in his pocket. And in it he had written, Veni, Vidi, Vici. I came, I saw, I conquered. And under that, he had written, about 200 feet across from the cave. What did he mean by this? We will never know. But this we do know, that once again, the superstition's curse had descended, and death was its reward. The chain of events that led to Adolph Ruth and others like him started in a small Mexican village with young Pedro Peralta. Pedro was in love with Luisa, but Luisa's father would allow no marriage to take place because Pedro had neither land nor money. Pedro and his brothers dreamed of finding fame and fortune in the Blacktop Mountains to the north.
We'll be here soon.
Luisa, wait! Please, Luisa! Luisa, you know how much I love you. I would do anything for you.
But you're only a poor man with no money and no land. My father won't allow us to marry.
My brothers and I are going north to make our fortune. We will find gold and we will return wealthier than your father can even have imagined.
But when will that be? You may never return to our village. If you do, maybe you no gold. You can't wait forever.
Pedro! Her father is coming! We must go!
Wait for me, Luisa. When we return, it will be with sacks of gold. Your father will bend his knees to praise the Peraltas.
Pedro, come on! Luisa! Luisa!
Yes, Father?
I thought I heard you talking to someone.
Yes, only poor Pedro Peralta. He's such a boy, always dreaming of being wealthy.
Yes, dreaming and being are two different things. Now, I have found you many rich suitors that will bring you lovely and expensive gifts. What can Pedro Peralta bring you?
You're right, my father. Such gifts should be treasured and not taken lightly. Goodbye, Pedro.
There was gold in the mountainous regions to the north. Pedro Peralta persuaded his brothers, Manuel and Ramon, to join him in search of this treasure. Their journey across the barren, uncharted wilderness was slow and painful. At long last, footsore and weary, they crossed a desert thickly overgrown with cholla, mesquite, and ocotillo. They came to a blacktop range of rugged cliffs and deep canyons. They had no name for the grim mountains they saw, but they were looking at the same range that you are looking at tonight. The Superstitions. They made camp, perhaps on this very spot.
Only a coyote. Angry that we invaded his lands.
A coyote or an Indian? I've heard him signal this way.
And so you think we're surrounded by the deadly Apaches, Manuel?
I felt all day we've been watched.
And why did the Apaches watch us, Manuel? It is to rob us of our great wealth? Or no, it is not our enormous amounts of gold they seek. It's our rich foods instead. And who can blame them?
It was only a coyote, I think.
Well, I for one am sleepy. It looks as if tomorrow will be a difficult day. I think I'd take to my blanket.
Why will tomorrow be any more difficult than any other day since we left Sonora?
These cliffs are steep, Manuel. The climbing will not be easy.
So why try to climb them?
What do you mean?
I mean it's plain enough. The time has come to turn back.
Turn back? No!
We have wandered for months across these endless deserts, climbing these ugly mountains. For what?
We can't just give up.
Maybe you can't. But there's nothing stopping Ramon and I from turning back. We have no senoritas back home that must be full of gold.
Pedro, Manuel, stop! In the name of God, stop! If we fight each other, we're finished!
So, Ramon, you side with Manuel against me.
No, I side with no one, but I will not see us fighting. Not when we've come through this much together.
I had a dream last night. I dreamt we were surrounded by the Apache. And there was one young warrior. He had a brand new scalp on his belt.
Did you hear that, Ramon? Manuel has an itchy scalp.
It was not my scalp, my brother. It was yours.
Sometimes I think these mountains are full of evil spirits. Evil spirits that are always leading us on. Leading us to even harder places to climb and to cross. But never leading us to the mountain soul. I think they're just playing with us.
Hi, Ramon. You're a superstitious old woman.
It's these mountains that make me feel that way. I too feel as if we're being watched by evil spirits or by Apache, and they're watching and waiting.
Waiting? Waiting for what?
Remember the other night when one of our burros strayed from camp? And the next morning we followed it, and what did we find?
A campfire.
A campfire with bloodstains and pieces of skin where the animal had been butchered and the flesh cooked and eaten.
And who were the Apaches they brought me to feast? The burro was first. What? Who will be next?
You were right, my brothers. Pedro Peralta is a blind fool. Manuel, I am sorry. Forgive me?
We know how you feel. Ramon and I, we want to help. Somewhere there must be an end.
And these black mountains mark that end.
We could waste our lives in this futile searching.
Each day I have told myself, today we will find the gold.
We can tell ourselves this every day of our lives and never find a grain of gold.
You know what a disappointment this is for you?
Of course, as you say, I have been selfish. It is time I stopped thinking only of myself and started thinking of you and Ramon. In the morning, we turn back.
These mountains are so high, so grim looking. I suppose they frightened off many others who come searching for gold.
Very likely.
It seems a shame to turn back without even trying our luck. I mean, we could give ourselves a time limit, you know. A week.
No, Ramon, Manuel is right. It's time to turn back. Now get some sleep. It's a long journey all the way back to Sonora.
Ramon's right. We can prospect these mountains for one more week.
You're sure?
Positive, but only 1 week.
Gracias, Manuel, gracias. Why do you waste the water on the fire?
Better to waste the water on the fire than our blood on the sand. The Apache should see it.
As tentative as it may have been, the next morning they proceeded into these hostile mountains. When the agreed upon week was nearly over, they found themselves searching in an area of a strangely shaped peak. Years later, this peak would be known as Weaver's Needle.
Pedro, it's growing dark.
I know it's getting dark, Ramon. Just give me a few more. Manuel, Ramon, come quickly! I found it! I found it!
That is a wonderful.
Tell me, Manuel, what do you say it is?
No, I don't believe it.
Pedro, you struck it.
See, look where I chipped this rock off. There's a vein of almost pure gold.
Never by sea such a rich find.
And where there's this vein, there must be others.
Of course there are. These ugly mountains are full of gold. I knew it. Enough gold to buy all of Sonora.
And we thought we were finished.
Finished? We're only just beginning.
See, we must prospect these canyons carefully. Then we can take rich samples with us back to Sonora.
What a reception they will give us, those foolish Peralta brothers.
Those wealthy Peralta brothers. We will cram their gold on the river's throats.
But first, we need to mark this place with a stone and make a map while our memories are still fresh in our minds.
What do we have to make a map with?
We can use one of the goat skins we use to keep ourselves warm at night. Besides, it will last a long time.
But first, let's draw it on the ground here before us. That peak will be the central landmark.
And see where the shadow of that peak. It falls directly on where we found the gold.
Yes, and look, this riverbed, we followed through this canyon until we got to this mountain right here.
See, and to complete the map, I'll draw a line in 3 corners, forming a triangle over the center, which will forever be the Peralta coat of arms. With this map to guide us, we'll never again have to fight through these flat-top mountains. Our fondest dreams have come true, my brothers. The world is ours.
Peralta was right. The mountains were full of gold. Carefully searching the area of their first strike, they found 7 more veins of almost virgin gold. They marked their strikes carefully with coded signs carved into the rocks along the trail and made a quick retreat to their home in Sonora. With glittering proof in hand, the Peraltas were hailed as conquering heroes.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
But me, amigo, I'm celebrating the great good fortune of the Peralta brothers.
Ah! I do not believe they found any gold. After all, they're from our village. Where could they find gold?
You're just jealous because you don't have any gold. And besides, you're afraid of me.
He is right. You only wish that you were being treated as a hero and not as the Peraltas. And you only wish that your daughter had married Pedro Peralta.
Beginning to lose my patience with you two. Do not insult me further.
Then stop lying about the Peraltas.
When I see the gold in my hand, I will believe.
are a stubborn, foolish old
I
man.
told you not to call me names. I warned you.
Mi amigo! Why do you fight amongst yourselves?
This foolish man does not believe you have found the gold.
Pedro! Pedro! Happy Kirby! How much gold have you found?
I have returned, Louisa, and just as I told you, richer and with more gold than even your father could have imagined. Now it is I who shall decide when we will be married.
Pedro!
Or if I even wish to be married to you at all.
Louisa, go home to your mother. This is no place for a lady. I will deal with that scoundrel who thinks he's rich.
Pedro, Pedro, is it true? Is it true that you have found some gold? This much gold?
No, senor, not that much gold. This much gold!
Ay, Chihuahua!
Si, senor. It took many long months for us to find the gold. We searched forever. But we finally came upon 8 veins of almost pure gold, richer than Montezuma or the Incas. The gold is there for the taking. But you still do not believe.
Not until I can see it and feel it with my own hand.
What is this I hold before you? It is not the same thing I place in your hand.
Oh my goodness. Look at it.
Yes. The gold is there for the taking, but the risks, they are great.
Where did it come from? How did you find it? Would you show us the location? What did we do?
Senor, it is our secret. The secret of the poor Peralta brothers.
Oh, but surely, Pedro, surely there must be enough for all if it is so great a discovery. Please show me where to find the treasure.
It's not easy, mi amigo. My brothers and I searched for many long months before we found the gold. You can come within the link on that side, and still not find it.
Manuel! 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 You are my good friend, Manuel. Please, we have drank together. We have danced with the beautiful senoritas together. Please, Manuel, please show me where to find the treasure.
Well, have you the cunning of a coyote and the strength of a mountain lion?
See.
And can you go hungry and bake in a hot desert sun? And can you chill in a cold lonely night and still go out and see, Manuel?
Only tell me.
And can you listen to the drums of the Apache go, boom, 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 boom?
See,
And
Manuel.
still go home?
See, Manuel. I can do all those things. Only tell me.
Well, if you are so brave and so strong, you have everything you need.
Except what, Pedro?
Hey, map!
A map. See, a map. You have a map?
Yes, I have a map. Here.
See, a map. A map. I have money. I have burros. We can start manana if we...
Oh, no, you dog. Pedro is I, your great friend Pablo, who asked you. I am very strong. I will work hand in hand with you. Get me the map!
Pablo, why you make such a nuisance of yourself?
I am no more a nuisance than you are, you old fool.
Old fool? What do you mean, old fool? Do not listen to him. You can't believe a word he says. Please show me where to find the
You
treasure.
can't call me a liar, you old fool. You are so old, I just give you up.
I'll show you how an old fool can fight. Fool.
Stop, both of you, stop. Very well, then, if you will not listen, I must divide it among you. What?
Pedro, what's so funny?
The map.
You tore up our map!
It is a map of the village. Stop, all of you, stop. That map is useless to you. My brothers and I have the only map of the gold, and we will keep it safe for all of us. But wait, the 3 of us alone cannot bring out all the gold. We need help. Your help. It will take all the courageous men in this village, plus hundreds of burros, for all the work that must be done. The work will not be easy, and the land will be against us. But with many courageous men, we will overcome the land and the Apache. The mountains will hide. The Apache will try and stop us. But don't you see? Today is an important day for this village. Indeed, for all of Sonora. Today is the day we celebrate the discovery of the Pearl of Gold. Everyone that goes with us will stand far higher than his cowardly neighbor who stays home. When this day is celebrated again, those courageous ones that go with us will proudly show the scars of their toil and their victory over the Apache. Everyone will remember the feats they accomplished as they went with the Peraltas on this glorious day to bring back more wealth for their family than anyone in this village has ever seen, more than anyone in all of Sonora has ever seen. Don't you understand? When this day is celebrated again, those who stay behind will think themselves cursed and hold their manhood cheap, while those that go with us, those that are courageous, they will celebrate this glorious day. We will all work together to share in the riches of those sinister and superstitious mountains to the north. Now, who will go with us? Who will be counted as men and not cowards? Who will be the ones to celebrate this day with the Peraltas?
I'll go. I'll go.
Bueno.
I'll go. I'll go. We'll all go.
Triumphant entry into Sonora, the brothers organized a large party of 100 men with 200 burros and made the trek back to the Superstitions. Pedro Peralta was their leader. The men, under his direction, established a permanent camp and began to mine the gold. For 2 years, a steady stream of gold-bearing burros crossed the desert back to Sonora. The mountains rang to the miners' pick, disturbing the sleep of centuries. This enterprise may have continued for years had it not been for the Apaches.
The home of our thunder gods echoes to the noise of the invaders from the south. Those among you who crave peace have said these men will leave. This council has listened to such cowardly fighting for many moons, and still the invaders come. Why, stomach crawls with such peace talk. Are we Apaches or a desert world? Does the home of our thunder god mean nothing to you? Members of this council have cautioned that the invaders are many and well armed. But we need not fear their numbers, for we know these mountains as they do not. But we must not wait, for to wait is to let them grow stronger. We must kill them all, and soon. We will watch the invaders night and day. We will choose the time that is best to strike. And with our great thunder god's help, we will destroy those who desecrate our land. All will feel Apache vengeance!
When the days became weeks and the weeks became months, the citizens of Sonora accepted the grim fact that the expedition had been wiped out. Candles were lighted in churches, masses were said, and token monuments were erected. Each person privately mourned the loss of loved ones who would not return. The sole survivor, Ramon Peralta, became dissatisfied. To ease his restlessness, he settled down on a large cattle ranch and tried to forget. As a result of the war with the United States and the subsequent Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, the land where the treasure lay left Mexican hands. In 1863, it became part of the new Arizona Territory. In his middle years, Ramon Peralta spent his evenings in the cantina of a small mining village. One night in the late 1870s, he was joined by two miners. One, a German immigrant, Jacob Wieser, and his prospecting partner, who had been accused of high-grading ore from the Wickenburg mine, named the Vulture Mine. That was me, Jacob Waltz. That evening marked the beginning of another legend in the tale of the Superstition's gold.
Where's old me that has to serve the old men? Perhaps it's because you are an old woman. But I am not an old woman. I am still young and beautiful, and I can dance better than you. And the men, they still stare at me when I walk down the village street.
Oh, yes, they stare, because they can't believe one so old still walks the streets. They no longer pay you for your services with gold as they do me.
Speaking of gold, I watch you each night with the rich Don Ramon. Ha! Do you think he cares about you? He laughs behind your back.
Don Ramon means nothing to me. He's only a customer who's generous with his gold.
You are a foolish girl. You know, perhaps I shall tell Juan Alvarez of your flirtation when he returns to the cantina tonight.
Go ahead and tell him, my brave one. If you are so anxious to have your eyes scratched out, Juan Alvarez loves me, not you, old woman.
Whoa, woman! Oh! Oh!
Rita, why do you fight with Lupe? Has she abandoned you? So be it. I have no wish to be caught between two Spitfires. Carlos! Not with this!
Ramon, are you hurt?
No, but I could use a drink.
Of course.
Tell me, Rita, Do you fight men as well as you do women?
Don Ramon, please, no jokes. My heart is not in it.
What does it matter where your heart is, as long as I possess it?
I do not wish there to be trouble, Don Ramon.
Why should there be any trouble?
Juan Alvarez is a very jealous man.
Bueno, this Alvarez is jealous of me?
I do not think that is wise, Don Ramon. That Alvarez is a fast man, quick man with a knife.
A knife? What is that? A pin? A needle? I've seen him belt the Apache lance. That's a weapon for killing. Read it!
I warned you.
And who are you to threaten the lady?
Rita's my woman and she does as I tell her.
I didn't force her to come to my table. She came because she wanted to. She's welcome. You're not.
Rita, come with me.
Juan, please don't make trouble. It's part of my job to be nice to the customers.
Be nice to who I tell you to be nice to. Leave the lady in peace, Alvarez. Nothing's right, Rita.
As you wish, senorita. I will let him live.
Gracias, senor. I do wish it.
But why?
Because I love him.
Women! I'll never understand them.
The less you have to do with that, the better.
Rita? She means nothing to me. Just a companion for the evening.
We know. He's a crazy one, that Alvarez. I sooner trust a snake.
It looks like you made yourself a new enemy tonight. But you've also made a new friend. You saved my life. How can I ever repay you?
You can buy me a drink?
Oh, you bad enough to drink for one night, sir.
If another drink improves his aim, I would not like to be in the path of the bullet.
I only drink when I shoot. And I only shoot when I drink.
Come on. I'll buy you a drink. And I'll give you money besides.
Only the drink, Don Ramon. That is more than enough for what I have done.
You mean my life is worth no more than a swallow of tequila?
That is not what Beezer meant, Don Ramon. He only meant we've been more than paid by you saving our life. Beezer and I are simple men, Don Ramon. We've prospected the mountains for years. We ask for little, some food, an occasional drink in good company. Oh, and our word.
Your word. Of course. Mi amigos, you've heard of the Peralta mines to the north?
Yeah, every prospector's heard of the great Peralta mines. One of your country's great legends.
A legend, you say? It's been 22 years since my brothers died there at the hands of the Apache. 22 years since any man has ever laid eyes upon those mines.
Have you ever thought of going back, Don Ramon?
No. The mines have only brought unhappiness and death to the Peralta family. I'll never go back. Yeah, I never even thought of revealing the location of the mine, but tonight, when you moved so quickly to save my life, that changed my mind.
I thought of no reward, Don Ramon.
I know that, but if I were to give you a map, would you want to use it to locate the mine?
You would give me a map of your treasure?
I'm not so sure I'm doing you a favor, mi amigo. But if you really think you're ready, the map to the gold is all yours.
Do you hear that, Jacob?
Jacob, Don Ramon, you will be our partners. You will share the gold that Beezer and I bring back.
I want nothing. The map to the gold is all yours.
I can't believe it.
Here. This is the only real map to the mines. I remember drawing it years ago with my brothers on this goatskin. You can see the Peralta coat of arms in 3 corners forming the triangle of the center. I'll go partway with you, but never again will I enter the region of the Blacktop Mountains. I'll drink to your success. May the Peralta gold bring you the happiness that you deserve. And may you avoid the curse that dogged my brothers.
To the gold!
To the gold!
El Oro!
Ramon Peralta kept his word. Not only did he give us a map to his treasure, but he led us to a spot overlooking the grim and foreboding superstitions. He would go no further. He had lost the fever of gold. He turned back to Sonora and obscurity. We found many signs of the Peralta's journey into the area. There were rusty gun barrels, strange carvings on rock cliffs, miners' picks, and broken Apache lances. Our supplies were nearly gone when we came to a spot piled high with brush.
Look at it! You ever see such ore?
Never in a lifetime of searching. I've never seen anything like it. I wanted to believe. I couldn't. I still don't. I kept thinking, why should a man give away fortune and gold?
I know, I felt the same.
Don Ramon was grateful, true. But I thought if the mines existed, why did he waste his life on a cattle ranch?
But it's here, just as he said, it's true.
Yes, ours. All ours. It's a crazy world. For 30 years, I crawl through the mountains searching for gold. And I find little. And in 30 seconds in a cantina, I make my fortune. It's a crazy world. Listen! What's the matter? Already you act like a rich man. Wait till we mine some gold before you get so nervous.
I'm sure I heard something.
Apaches?
Maybe, or maybe we were followed.
We will not be cheated now. They were not Indians, Caesar. We were followed.
But Yak, you shot him in cold blood.
Don't be a fool, Caesar. I have not killed them. They'll kill us.
But we'll hang for this, Yak.
No one will hang, Caesar. No one will ever know. Look at this ore. We are richer than we've ever been. We're richer than kings. But no one will ever know the location of this mine.
What good is that gold going to do us if we go into town and others follow us? Is it always going to be like this, Jakob? Never been able to trust anyone, never been able to relax for a second? What good is this gold going to be us if we can't enjoy it?
No one must ever know of the mine.
But what if we're followed? What if?
Don't worry, Geezer. I will take care of it.
Yeah, you'll take care of it like you took care of those two men? Is that the way it's always going to be, Jakob? Is that the way it's going to be till death, our secret?
Now, Geezer, I will take care of it. As you said, our secret till death. Gold. It became my gold, the Dutchman's gold. After the death of my partner, I moved to Phoenix and bought land near what today is 16th Street and the freeway. Today, that land alone is worth more than all the gold I ever took from my mine. It became a challenge to outwit the human jackals who would follow me when I left town toward my mine. But I knew the canyons and the washes of this wilderness far better than they. 12 persons mysteriously died following me to my mine. No one ever knew what happened to them. Yet it was an act of nature that finally wore me down. In March 1891, one of the worst floods in Phoenix history overflowed the banks of the Salt River, partially swept away my home, leaving me weak from exhaustion and exposure. That's when I met Julia Thomas. She attempted to nurse me back to health, but her reasons were the same as all the others. The gold.
don't look so dangerous now, Jakob. I plan to find out where your mind is. It won't do you any good anymore, so you might as well tell me your secret. Maybe a little medicine. Will loosen his tongue. Time to take your medicine, Jakob.
Oh, the medicine. The doctors, they give it to me so I live longer. What they're taking is death.
A man as brave as you shouldn't be afraid of a little medicine. There. Now you can have the nice dinner I cooked for you.
You are very kind to me, Julia.
You were kind to me once.
Oh, I gave you some money. What is that?
It can be very important when you don't have it.
Julia, you've never asked me about my mind.
If you wish to tell me, you will. If you don't, I have no right to ask.
Someday, Julia, I will tell you about my mind.
If it pleases you. More medicine, Jakob?
Sometimes I think I'm stronger, and then I say, Jacob Waltz, you fool yourself. I had hoped that when it grew warmer, I would be strong enough to take a trip.
A trip?
Oh, it's a short trip, not far from Phoenix. Many have attempted to learn my secrets. They followed me. They've even given me whiskey, hoping that I would talk. But they fail, always. It's mine. The secret is all mine.
The location must be very well hidden.
Oh, no miner would ever know. Yet it's so simple, if you know.
If you know. Jakob? Asleep? Maybe I gave him a little too much whiskey.
Can't let them get the gold, Don Ramon. Caesar, no one ever knew. All mine. The gold is all mine. No one ever knew, Caesar.
Jakob! Jakob! Wake up! Are you all right?
Julia, it's time I tell you. I tell you about my mind, my gold.
Your gold. Yes, Jakob. How would I find the mine?
I will tell you. Listen very carefully. The afternoon sun shines into the mine. Oh, I'm so tired. Get a pencil and some paper. The military trail you see from the mine, but you can't see the trail. You climb a little, and you see Weaver's Needle. Weaver's Needle, you've heard of it?
Yes, Jakob. I've heard of Weaver's Needle. Go on.
Well, there's a stone face. Looks down where you work.
Go on, Jakob, go on.
I try. There's a rock formation, like a stone house, not far. you can find the mine where the shadow and the tip of Weaver's needle rest at 4 o'clock. I can't go on. I'm so tired.
Sure you can, Yaga. Oh, just try.
Didn't get to go back. Wanted to go just once more. The secret is still mine. No one will ever know what happened. Do you hear me, Weezer? All mine. No one will ever know the truth, Weezer. Rich as kings. No one ever knew. No one ever knew.
Julia Thomas kept the legend of the Dutchman alive as long as possible. She searched for many years, but never found the Dutchman's gold. But she did find a different way of making treasure. She created maps illustrating the exact location to the famous Lost Dutchman Mine. Of course, the maps were worthless, but they produced a sizable income for several years. Men still hunt for the Dutchman's treasure, but today they come from the office, the farm, and the factory, frequently inexperienced and unprepared for the rigors of the Superstition wilderness. Yet they all come with a single purpose: to find the gold of the Lost Dutchman Mine. The search will not end tonight. Many will follow the golden trail. Many will experience the travail, the hardship, and the unrequited hopes. Many will give their lives vainly seeking a treasure that exists beyond all men's comprehension. Tonight, as you leave these brooding mountains, remember, a specter will track you wherever you go.
There's a curse on my gold and all those who seek it. Tonight, you are very close to my gold, and I hope for your sake you never find it. I go now, and as I leave, I want you to look silence at this angry mountain. Remember the warning that you have been given. Heed it well. I will be watching, and I will be waiting.